everyone. Welcome back to the Heal, Nourish, Grow podcast. Today, I am joined by Yug Varna, and we are going to be talking about all things microbiome. But before we get into that, I'm just going to have him share with you a little bit how he got into this work and how in the world you become interested in such a very niche thing, but it is becoming more popular right now. So I'd love to hear how you started.
Hey, Cheryl. It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm Yug. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Phyla, and I am a scientist by training. So I got my Ph.D. at Johns Hopkins many years ago. I did a postdoc after that at UCSF. And after that, I started this company. And it was at UCSF that I started sort of studying the microbiome. So I've been studying the microbiome now for about 11 or 12 years. And, even before that, kind of my big impetus of starting this company, continuing on this mission has been sort of a real dedication to the technology that underpins our products. And that is bacteriophage or phage technology. And we'll go into it over the podcast. But essentially, it's this, 100-year-old biotechnology. It's one of the oldest biotechnologies that we know of. And it has, saved lives in the past. It has kind of a fascinating political history. But, when I first heard about it in grad school, my question was, why isn't this a thing? Why isn't this in products? And really, there are no products of note in the West that have phages in them. So my personal mission has been to kind of evangelize and promote and build products with this technology. But really how our company came together was my co-founder, Maria, who I met through a entrepreneur message board. She's a biotech executive, and she's suffered from acne her whole adult life. So, since she was a teenager, she tried multiple rounds of Accutane, which is the strongest drug for acne there is. Mm-hmm. She tried 3 rounds, and it didn't give her, relief. She still had acne. Unfortunately, what it did give her was liver damage. And so she had to have a restricted diet, even to this day. And, when she heard about the mission that I was on and the application, which was acne, it was just incredibly powerful for her, not just from I'm a biotech executive, I understand the significance of this, but personally, she found something that she was looking for her whole adult life, which was a solution for her problems. And, having done the research, coming out on the other end with a product, it was really rewarding to see that we're the solution, not just for her, but, tens of thousands of people like her that have tried everything under the sun, are frustrated. I mean, if you're a parent, you're kind of disappointed that the solutions you're trying to give your kid are the same solutions that existed when you were a kid, and nothing's changed. And it's the same awful stuff you have to put on your face and bear the dryness and the inflammation and all of that. So that's kind of our mission, is to really change the way we look at and treat some of these chronic conditions like acne, eczema, and so on. Obviously, right now we're focused on acne, but that's kind of where we are right now.
Awesome. And I love that this has such a practical application, because that's quite often how the best companies come about, is either finding a new technology. You mentioned that this technology has been around for a while, yet nobody's really been utilizing it. And then the second thing about having a very practical problem and something that, millions of people worldwide experience, and that you're able to help with that. So I just think that that's really cool. But before we get more into that stuff, I would love to hear, so most people, especially if you're familiar with this podcast, we're very focused on what we eat here, nutrition, all that. And a lot of people, it's very trendy right now to talk about the gut microbiome. But what most people might not realize is that multiple areas of your body have their own microbiome. So maybe this would be a good point to explain, how does the skin microbiome, differ from the gut microbiome? How are they the same? And how did people ever even discover that we had such a thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are great questions and a foundational way to kind of start the discussion. I always like to start from this point. No one knows or truly appreciates that we have an invisible rainforest on our skin. All right. Now, this rainforest is invisible because its trees are made up of microbes, bacteria, viruses, fungi. And together, this community of microorganisms that live on our skin is called a microbiome. Now, just like a rainforest, when we're healthy, our skin microbiome is diverse, it's resilient, and it kind of supports each other. But often when we have a bad, chronic bacterial disease like acne, a bad bacteria, a single, bad actor, a bad bacteria will come in, invade, overgrow, and disrupt this balance. And so when we go out of balance, our skin, our body responds to that by sending inflammation, sending pimples, and that's really what acne is. So to go from acne back to a state of health, we need to redress that balance, right? We need to set it right again. And so just like with your gut, it is important to maintain and tend to that balance in our system. And just as you said, our gut has a microbiome because there's bacteria living there. Our skin has a microbiome. Our oral microbiome exists too, where in our mouth, and we're quite aware of this, right? Obviously, things like bad breath or poor dental health is intimately tied to it. But now, for example, your heart health is important because of your oral microbiome. And the way that works is if you have like a major heart surgery, they actually the night before they give you a mouthwash that kills all the bacteria in because the bacteria that you're swallowing could find its way into the heart. Now there's a very intriguing hypothesis that Alzheimer's could be caused by bad bacteria in your mouth. And so again, we're diverging from the skin a little bit, but what I'm trying to say is that there are all these parts of our body that harbor bacteria that we either didn't know about or underappreciated that are now coming into focus. And really the power of our technology and our company is that we're able to take advantages of these insights of, this is causing the disease. We know it, it's a bacteria. And we can heal that in a way that, no other solution can.
And one of the things that it made me think of when you were describing this, and I love the rainforest analogy for thinking of your skin microbiome, is finding that balance. And one of the things that I had read about recently, because I guess people are starting to become a little bit more aware of this, and the person was talking about giving up like washing with soap or something. Like they still rinse with water, but they're talking about, and it's almost like you might have heard like there's this trend for people with hair too, to go off a shampoo and just rinse and kind of let the skin and the hair balance itself naturally with the oils and stuff like that. So all of this leading up to ask a question about, first of all, how does that affect somebody who knows the microbiome, the skin microbiome intimately? Like, is that a good idea? Or would you recommend something else? And then how does what you're working on create that balance if it's not, stripping the skin or cleansing the skin? I guess it's kind of I don't know if you can see where I'm getting with this, but it's like kind of a weird combination of things because we've just always been taught to use soap and to do all those things that would actually disturb the microbiome. So I'm just curious to hear your take on all of that.
Yeah, look, I think it's an incredibly important question. And it's a question that, if your listeners aren't asking themselves, they probably should be. So things like, personal hygiene, washing with soap, washing your hair, we are used to a certain cadence, right? And yeah, different people are completely different. Some people have body odor issues and need to shower a lot. And some people are like, well, it's not body odor issue. It's just I feel cleaner. Okay, fair enough. Mm-hmm. One thing to note is, just let's consider shampoo. In the 70s, shampoo was marketed as, shampoo once a week. It's healthy if you shampoo your hair once a week on the weekends or maybe twice a week. Now it's like you shampoo and condition every single day, right? And it's a similar trend with stuff where, again, 30, 40 years ago, it was, you have a moisturizing cream, you have a cleanser, that's it, right? Now it's like a 15-step routine and, something for your eyes, something for your chin, something for the left side of the cheek, something for the nose. it's proliferated, and a lot of it is obviously driven by just consumerism. But I think that, so speaking from sort of the body's point of view, your body is a homeostatic system, right? So your body is trying to keep a certain balance. And if you wash over and over again and overwash, and you're stripping the oils from your skin, your body will say, oh, my body the skin needs oil, and the environment that I'm in, the oils keep stripping away. So I'm going to pump up the production. I'm going to produce and produce and produce. So the result is when you stop showering or you stop overwashing, what you notice is that your skin is slick with oil because your body's just, trying to stay up. No one told it that you're going to stop on a Monday, right? But then, and for the next few weeks, you're going to see your skin be over oily. But after a few weeks, your skin calms down because it says, oh, wait, I think I'm producing too much oil. This has been going on for a few weeks. I'm going to pull back. And so your body is now, adjusting to a new normal. And as a result, over time, you'll notice that, some people say, oh, my skin was really oily. That's why I was overwashing. Well, ironically, as you wash less, your body produces less oil over time. And when it stabilizes, your body's in a different place. And, it's doing a lot more stuff by itself. You're creating skin health on its own without over-reliance on other products. Now, you might think that, oh, those two are the same thing, right? You're either relying on products to stay healthy or you're doing it, or by yourself. Your body's just generating it by itself. They're not exactly equivalent. And there was a study that showed that the modern woman puts about 500 skincare ingredients on her skin every day. 500. I'm going to go out on a limb and wager that not every single one of those 500 ingredients is absolutely essential. And so, thinking from it again, from the skin's point of view, you're burdening, you're choking, you're clogging your skin with all of these ingredients. And your skin has to kind of deal with that burden every day. And you have to think about what happens to your skin after decades of this kind of treatment. So, this is my personal advocacy, but even at Phyla, we advocate for like a minimalist concept of make your skin healthy, but don't make it reliant on, a whole suite of products for it to need to be healthy, because there's a better way.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And what came to mind when you were describing that, I was just thinking of, obviously my skin now at nearly 50 is quite different than when I was 18. And fortunately, I was not like your friend that had a severe acne problem or anything like that. But I'm seeing this right now in our son who's 18 and, has some, skin stuff like many 18-year-olds do. I'm wondering the difference between purely skin microbiome and some things that are hormonally driven. If it's hormonally driven, is there any way to still, support the skin in being healthier? And how does that, change over time or for different people?
So here's the thing. Acne is a complicated condition, right? And it has many factors that we know of. So hormones, like you said, food, stress, genetics, these are all components that affect acne. But what microbiome research has found is that these are all secondary factors that support a prime cause. And the prime cause is the overgrowth and imbalance caused by one bacterium called C. acnes or Cutibacterium acnes. Now, C. acnes only starts inhabiting our skin in a major way around puberty. That's why, little kids never get acne, right? You never have a 5-6-year-old saying, oh, they have acne. What happens at puberty is because of your hormonal changes, there's a wholesale change in the structure of your skin, especially on your face, where your pores deepen, the oil glands called the sebaceous glands activate and start pumping out oil. And this C. acnes, whose main food is the oil that these sebaceous glands produce, is now able to occupy those pores and start growing, right? So that, by the way, is completely natural because every adult on this planet, you, me, everyone probably listening has C. acnes on their skin. So it's not a bad bacterium. It's just that when it overgrows, when it grows out of bounds, that's when the skin's immune system is forced to respond with inflammation. And that's the imbalance that we're seeking to redress or, rebalance. So in your son's case, his hormones are probably causing an excessive production of sebum. And this could be deep in the pores. This could be at the surface of the skin. So you may or may not be like, oh, obviously your skin is super oily. You have acne. And that's really what's driving the disease. Similarly with food, right? And people have different triggers. So for some people, it's spicy food. For some people, it's sugar. For some people, it's chocolate. But your body responds to certain foods by producing or changing the quality of sebum on your skin. And the bacteria respond to that by chomping on it and overgrowing. So you get acne. Stress, obviously, you're going to sweat. You're going to, perspire more with stress. And that leads to more bacterial overgrowth. And genetically, right? Like I have large pores. Some people have fine pores. You have oily skin, dry skin, combination skin. All of those things are factors. But really what they're funneling to is managing the growth of C. acnes on your skin. And if we can do that in a directed way where we're just controlling the C. acnes without killing or hurting the good bacteria on our microbiome, that is the ticket.
And so then knowing that, is that how you started to develop the products that you're using to support skin health and not, I guess protecting the good parts of the microbiome while managing this C. acne bacteria?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, an early insight into kind of our approach was a paper that came out a few years ago where they compared acne microbiomes and healthy microbiomes. And really they were trying to find if there is one or a few things that are different, right? Mm-hmm. So they can say, aha, acne microbiomes have this difference, so that might be a cause. And so the only difference that they found, and really the biggest difference, was that there's a difference in the natural occurrence of this organism called phage on the skin. Now, what are phages? Phages are small, tiny microscopic viruses. They don't really affect our cells. They really go after bacteria. So they're programmed or they've evolved to eat bacteria. Phages are everywhere. They're in seawater, they're in soil, they're probably on every surface, they're inside of us, and billions of phages pass through our systems every day. And our body doesn't really interact with them. But phages are nature's best defense against bacteria, and their natural property is that they're incredibly specific. So this study found that the phages that kill C. acnes, this dominant bacteria on our face that causes acne, these phages that go after this acne bacteria are only found on healthy skin and not found very often on acne skin at all. And so this gives rise to an interesting hypothesis. We all have our annoying friends who wake up every morning looking amazing, never get zits, eat whatever they want, never wash their face, right? And they look great. Well, chances are that they're carrying this organism naturally and they are not doing anything because they don't need to. This phage is naturally keeping the bad bacteria in check. So we decided to democratize this organism, right? We wanted to put this in a bottle so that even if you're not born with it, you can get the advantage of applying this to your microbiome, adding it, and then healing your acne in a natural way.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It almost seems too simple. So what was the experience of, I'm assuming your co-founder, she must have been very eager to test this stuff on herself once you figured this out and this was going to be your approach. So maybe tell me a little bit about how, what happened with that? Like how did it work, or how did you find out, or did you do other trials basically?
Yeah. I mean, when it started, I was working in the lab and doing all the research, and, we did this, we validated it. We were the first guinea pigs because obviously there's a new technology And at the first drop, we knew that it's incredibly safe. And the way we know this is because these phages are naturally on people's face. And we know that they're actually on healthy people's face far more often than they are on people with acne. So the correlation with health is undeniable. We formulated it. We spent a good amount of time in formulation. And then, Maria and I were both the first guinea pigs. But we didn't stop there. We actually ran a clinical trial to really see for ourselves, collect hard data to look at the impact of phages in an acne setting. And what we found was actually quite remarkable. And, this is data that's kind of on our website, and we're working to publish it soon. But essentially, we found firstly that these phages are safe. They're incredibly safe. There were no side effects from using phage in the trial at all. And you compare that with, redness, dryness, irritation from things like benzoyl peroxide and antibiotics. And with retinoids, in very painful dryness, obviously propensity for liver damage, suicidal ideation, birth defects. These are all serious side effects. And people are willing, they're so desperate to find a cure that they're willing to kind of put up with it. So that safety was really great. Then we found that, when we add the phage to the skin, it actually does significantly reduce the C. acnes on the skin. And that might seem trivial. Oh yeah, you can do it in a test tube, but showing it on the skin was really important. The third question we answered was, okay, it's killing the bacteria on the skin, but what do we care about? We care about our acne going away. So is this causing a significant decrease in acne? And we found that yes, to a statistical significance, we saw a decrease in acne in the phage group versus a placebo. And these are all comparing placebo with, really good numbers of data. And finally, what we looked for is, how is this affecting microbiome diversity? What we found is in the placebo group, every single person had either the same microbiome diversity or their diversity decreased. Whereas in our group, every single person ended up with high diversity, and their diversity actually increased a lot. Now, why is that important? It is known, going back to the rainforest, a diverse rainforest is a healthy one. We know that people with acne have a lower diversity than healthy people. And it is thought that if we can boost this diversity, maybe we can move the needle in acne. The second observation is that throughout the world, acne occurs at roughly 80%, 85% of the population, whether you're in Asia or Africa or Europe or Americas or the Pacific. Well, there are certain pre-contact native tribes, like the Yanomami tribe in Brazil, where acne is not known to exist. And so these people live in the jungle in harmony with nature. And the biggest difference between their microbiomes and ours, or their skin and ours, is that their microbiome diversity is off the charts. So high skin microbiome diversity is actually a key indicator of not just, oh, I want this acne gone in 2 weeks because I'm attending a wedding or it's beach season or whatever. It's a key marker of long-term skin health. And really that's our mission.
Now this is leading to more questions. So if I start using your product to potentially, to just equate it to the gut again, I'm guessing, so maybe the gut's easier because it's not as exposed to like water and things stripping it all the time. But I guess what I'm thinking is, okay, say I use this product for a little while, I improve my skin microbiome, I get a more diverse population happening. Do I have to keep, feeding it, to keep that up? Or does it have some resiliency over time? Like, hey, you get your skin back healthy again, and then these little phages stick around.
Yeah, the end goal is to build a diverse microbiome that stands up for itself and that can flourish independently, right? What we are seeing is, at least for several months, up to 1 to 2 years, it's really important to apply this product and apply it regularly. Again, compliance is important. And the reason is that the skin microbiome, like many microbiomes, again, is kind of a homeostatic system, meaning that it's kind of stuck in a certain gear. right? To get it to a different gear or different makeup, you can't just apply, the phage overnight or reduce one bacteria one time and then expect the community to kind of become a different mode. And over time, slowly, your microbiome gets used to, this bacteria that was overgrowing is not there anymore. Okay, that frees up resources. So I'm going to slowly grow into it. You're going to incorporate other beneficial organisms and build that kind of web of community. And then once it's built, you make it stronger and stronger and stronger. So I guess I don't have a great answer for everybody because everyone's skin is different. And so for some people, we find that, after a few months, 2 to 6 months, they're like, because we talk to our customers, we call them up and we chat with them and we have focus groups. And sometimes we ask customers who stop using Phyla, did you not like it? They're like, no, it was great. It worked like nothing else. But I kind of, I'm done with acne, I guess. Whereas other people are like, this is great. I'm never going to stop. And, like I went away for a weekend. I forgot my Phyla serum and I started breaking out. Mm-hmm. So I quickly, we kind of got on the wagon and I'm fine. So what we know from a scientific standpoint is we know that phages stick around on healthy skin for a long time, but they don't stick around on acne skin. And we know that when people apply the phage, especially if they have acne, the phage keeps disappearing. It's not able to persist. It is a living organism after all. You'd think, you think if it engrafts and starts growing, it should be there forever. So we don't know why that is, what the differences are between acne skin and healthy skin that are causing this. But we do know that it exists. And our hope is, our expectation is, as you build a healthier microbiome over time, it fosters conditions for healthy phage to stick around and stay on your skin so that now we've given you clear skin for life.
Yeah. And I guess to say a little more about that is it would make sense that based on people's overall health that, there might be other confounding factors. There might be other health things that they have going on within their body, with the skin's regenerating itself every 28 days. Maybe there could be any number of reasons why the body might not support that new microbiome unless you keep putting it on. So probably it's just person dependent, much like our gut microbiome, much like our mouth microbiome. It's, depends on how you take care of it, what you're putting into it, all that stuff, I'm sure. I think it's just pretty exciting though, that you can actually take something like an organism and put it on your skin and that's actually helping acne. I just think that's pretty amazing. Any other final thoughts, things that you've learned that have been really surprising? I mean, I think the fact that you're just studying the microbiome is really interesting outside of just the product itself, but the fact that you made a very useful product out of it is cool. Are you seeing other things as you continue to learn about the microbiome that you think could either help people down the road or ideas for future products that are in this realm, but something totally different?
Yeah, I mean, we have many ideas for future products. And, we're right now focusing on the Phyla system because, going back to sort of our earlier discussion of what are the products we're using? Are we overwashing? Do we need to shampoo every day or every week? Or, each person is different, obviously, and each person's needs are different. But really what we've done and our ethos and our mindset in creating the Phyla system, which is a cleanser, a serum, and a moisturizer, is to give people a really easy, simple, no-brainer kind of option that they can use every single day, that doesn't have to be overly complex, that fits into their skincare regimen as is. And really something that is meant for acne, which is a chronic condition, right? No one ever said, remember those two weeks in 8th grade I had acne and then I never had acne again. It takes, you suffer for months and years and you have to maintain your skin over that time. So it's ironic that all the products that treat acne are very harsh, right? That have benzoyl peroxide or antibiotics or retinoids. They're really harsh on your skin. They dry out your skin. They cause inflammation. And as a result, you can't use that for a long period of time. So most people use it for 2 to 3 months. They stop or they have to stop using it even earlier. Our products have no side effects and are meant to be used. They're formulated for sensitive skin, and they're meant to be used day in and day out for months and years, because you have acne for months and years. And so we don't see any benefit in giving you something that's supposed to work for 2 or 3 months. You get off of it, your acne comes roaring back, and you're back to square one. And so, looking ahead to other products, we're very careful in designing new products. And the new product only exists if it has a very strong reason to exist. We're not about maxing out our SKUs and, running a business. Yeah, those things are important. But for us, our customers' outcomes are number one. If our product is doing a great job and, that's like full stop, end of sentence, that's great. That we call that a huge win. If our customers are clamoring for, hey, I noticed you have this on your site, it'd be great if you had this other thing. Yeah, we're listening, we're considering that, and that goes, that plays a big part in our thought process. But for us, number one is caring about our customer outcomes. How can we get them to not just sort of beat acne for now, but beat acne forever? And so those are kind of some of our thought processes behind the scenes. And yeah, like I said, we have sort of a technology platform, a biotech platform behind our products. And we see acne as a really, really important indication to provide an alternate approach to. But there are many other indications, right? Like eczema, for example. 10 to 15% of kids have it. When it's really bad, it's terrible. And it's not only bad for the kid, it's terrible for the parents, because you have usually kids under 2 that have like full body rashes. Kids aren't sleeping. Obviously, parents aren't sleeping. They're distraught. They go to the doctor, and the doctor says, I can either give your kid a steroid, which as a parent, no one wants to give their kids steroids, or you put them in a bleach bath. And that frankly sounds medieval. So what are the different options? All right, we're working on it. We have a product in advanced development, and we're ready to take that next step.
That would be amazing. And I think that is certainly another good one to work on. So one final question, and then I'll have you just share with everybody where they can find you and all the relevant details. But the final question is, if someone did not have acne, if they have relatively normal skin, is there any benefit to using your products anyway? Like, does it still support the skin microbiome, or is it really only useful in the case that somebody does have acne?
So the great thing about our product is that it really is sort of a self-adjusting thing. And that really talks back to kind of the biology, the underlying biology that we're using and addressing, right? So in other words, you use our serum has phages in it. If you don't have low-grade inflammation or full-blown inflammation, which is acne, then the serum is going to be great. It's going to hydrate and moisturize you. It's going to balance your microbiome a little bit, but it's going to be great. If you have low-grade inflammation or acne, it's going to bring that C. acnes, that major bacteria that's causing the problem, under control. And over the weeks and months, you're going to see a huge change. Obviously, it's going to be gradual at first because your skin is adjusting, your microbiome is in flux, but you are going to see that difference over time. And so a lot of people don't have acne, but they have, uneven skin tone, low-grade inflammation. And we know that the main culprit there is C. acne. So
okay. And how would you characterize, or how would you know, for example, that you have some low-grade inflammation in your skin if it's not showing itself in an acne form? What would be some other ways that people would know that they might have that?
Just general sort of redness, puffiness, uneven skin tone. I think, those are kind of the
puffiness. That's one I was hoping you were going to say. So finally, before we go here, can you please share with everybody where they can get in touch? Are you active on any social channels, where they can find the product, and any other final thoughts that you want to add?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are at phylabiotics.com. We are selling only to our website for now. And you can go on there, learn more. We have a science section, we have a clinical study section. And we think it's really important to educate customers, answer their questions or their doubts, or really give them a reason to kind of buy into our approach or buy our product, because it's important to us. We're on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok now, just starting at Phylabiotics. And you can find us, keep up to date with us, check for offers or education or content.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this. I'm so excited to learn about this technology. And I think that's important for people something to realize is sometimes, interview subjects, I'm having trouble talking today, interview people on the podcast that are subject matter experts. And quite often they have a company associated with it. But to me, it's not because it's like a product pitch. It's more that you discovered this awesome technology. You're solving a problem that people really have on a day-to-day basis. And, you're making an impact in people's health and people's lives. So I like to say, to me, this is really a very technology-based and a science-based solution that you created, which I personally really appreciate. So I just want to thank you for sharing all of your knowledge and for working on this problem, because it's a huge thing, and it's very mentally taxing for a lot of people as well. So I think you're doing a wonderful thing with this product.
Thank you so much, Cheryl. Really appreciate it. And as we, move forward on our mission, we have a large customer base, and I really do appreciate, they leave reviews on our site. They kind of reach out to us, and
awesome.
That really floats our boat. So
yes, thanks again.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.